Hey folks, Allison here. Well, I have a question for you. How do you think? All right, it's becoming a lost art in our world today to think critically. We look around and there are many people who look intelligent because they're going along with everything. They can parrot things back. And it's occurring to me that I think we're all becoming trained circus poodles. Now, poodles are really, really smart dogs. I used to have 3 of them, super, super smart, but they don't think for themselves. We can watch them at the circus and say, wow, look how smart, they can do all these things. They can jump through the fire hoop and all of that. And it's very impressive, but they're just trained poodles. And I think with all the media, with social media, with a lot of propaganda that's out there today, too many of us have become trained circus poodles. We just go along. We go along with the latest Pinterest trend. We go along with the latest, food trend, whatever it is. But we need to stop and think critically if we're going to stay sane and if we're going to be successful in life. All right, there's not a lot of competition if you learn how to think for yourself, because most people just kind of go along with the program or they take the easy way. So how do we learn to think critically? Well, first question always to ask yourself is, well, does this make sense to me? On its face, is this logical? Many things are not, and yet people are going along with it. Do I like this? Is this something I even like? Sometimes we just go along with something because everybody else is, but we never stop to ask ourselves, is this something I like? There was a great line in a book by Dan Kennedy. He said, if you think marketing doesn't work, just look at how many people think they like yogurt. And I thought it was really funny because I never liked yogurt. I like the Greek yogurt now, but the original yogurt, I never understood how it got so popular. But they advertised it like crazy. Now, I don't mean to insult you if you like yogurt, but it was a great line because it's something that wasn't that good that became extremely popular. So is it something that you actually like or are attracted to? Is this something moral? And that's where I think we need to be living by certain faith and moral principles and to really square things with that. Because sometimes we go along with things that we kind of have an icky feeling about, but we're going along anyway, maybe watching something on TV or going to a movie that's really off color and it's popular and everything, but is this really sitting well with you? Listen to that inner voice. Know your faith. And I think this is where I think most of us have not really learned the faith very well as kids, whether it was the teachers, whether it was us, whatever the reason is. But if you don't already have a copy of the Catechism of the Catholic Church, I highly recommend you get one and read it, because you can look up any topic and it's not like, well, this is wrong and that's it. It's, this is wrong and this is why, and here's where it is in Scripture. And it's so incredibly logical. I love reading the Catechism. You can really get a lot out of that. So does it square with reason? Is it something that I like? Is it something that's moral? Is this a good investment of my time? Sometimes we go along with things and it's really not a good investment of our time. Are there things that I'd prefer to be doing that would be more valuable to me right now and in the long run? Right? And is this a good investment of my money? Sometimes, again, we're doing things. And I think, especially with the explosion of social media, many people feel a lot of pressure to go along, to get along, to kind of, it's keeping up with the Joneses on steroids now. So do we have to do that? And I think it's really an important question. Now, a lot of people talk about being in abusive relationships and being gaslit in those relationships. And let's face it, we're being gaslighted all the time in relationship with the media, the social media, whatever it is. Right? How do we stand up to gaslighting? By being strong in ourselves, knowing what the truth is, knowing how we feel. Right? If we don't establish those principles and those habits of critical thinking, it's a lot easier to find ourselves in abusive situations like that. So I really encourage you, start to cultivate those habits of critical thinking. And know the moral principles and get in touch with your feelings, because often, we get a feeling something's not right and we still kind of go along because we kind of go with the flow. But I think if we're going to be healthy, if we're going to start to rebuild society in a positive way, we need to stop and think and not just keep going along with everything. I hope you find that helpful, especially if you find yourself in difficult relationships where you find, you feel like you're being gaslit in a relationship. I really encourage you to reach out to a Catholic therapist, because sometimes we need help to break free. We need to run something past somebody who can validate what we're feeling. Because sometimes if everybody seems to be going along with something, it's a lonely feeling. But sometimes if we can talk to somebody and kind of elucidate what we're feeling and why, they can kind of validate that and help us to kind of own it. All right? If we don't communicate, if we keep it in, we may think nobody feels the way we do. We may find a lot of people do share our feelings if we share those feelings with them. So I hope you find that helpful. Again, goal, always freedom, emotional freedom, spiritual freedom. So God bless you.